It's early morning, and Juan Munguia urges his oxen through the bumpy forest terrain. He takes his job seriously. The future of his community may well depend on the precious cargo he delivers twice a day to the town of Chilanguera. It's called false fruit because its seed, the cashew nut, grows on the outside. For generations, these highly perishable sources of vitamin C were left to rot on the forest floor, their skins too fragile for transport, a waste byproduct of the highly coveted cashew nut. Today, there's nothing false about the value this colorful fruit holds for families living in this small village in Eastern El Salvador. The cashew tree has become more than a source of income here. It's a part of life, a reassuring symbol of hope and prosperity.
In the 12 years I've worked at the co-op, I've seen the cashew activity bring great opportunities for the development of the co-op and the community. We see it as a brand new source of employment. Remember, the communities we serve are small, poor, rural towns that have been abandoned by government. So, through this, we've managed to improve the quality of life, to increase benefits to co-op members, and even to increase employment in these excluded communities.
If anyone can turn cashew fruit into a means of income, the residents of Chilanguera can. Most are members of the Chilanguera Farmers Co-operative, one of many the government formed in the 1980s in this poorest region of El Salvador, when it redistributed land to peasant farmers. Lacking sufficient technical and business know-how, most cooperatives fell onto hard times, barely able to repay their debts, let alone realize their potential. Members recall the years when hunger stalked the land and combatants scorched the hillsides of all vegetation. On the verge of bankruptcy, members of 10 farmer cooperatives reached out for help. The Canadian Cooperative Association saw the potential cashew nuts held for co-op farmers here and offered technical and financial assistance. In 1994, the farmers formed a Cooperative Cashew Producer Society, SCPM, to deliver training to 10 member co-ops and market cashews on their behalf. It was the beginning of a long journey of training and technical assistance to help farmers improve production, processing, and marketing of their cashew nuts. The collaboration paid off. In 1999, the society turned a small cattle feed station it bought into a high-capacity plant to process various grades of nut. The plant employs 58 workers for 6 months of the year. A side industry of shops and canteens has grown up around it. 13,000 kilograms of cashews leave this plant each year, over half to a large retailer in Costa Rica for cookies exported around the globe. The rest are bagged for local supermarkets and restaurants. Today, SCPM turns a modest annual profit. It issues small productive loans to help members buy corn seed in the off-season.
For me, I think that the co-op is excellent. My husband gets paid to go out there and to work in the field and the orchards. People get paid to pick up the seeds and the fruit, and it provides additional income, not just to my family, but to the entire community.
At last, farmers were moving up the value chain. No longer limited to growing and selling their cashews to middlemen who make large profits from customers beyond their reach. But despite these impressive gains, farmers still struggled to make ends meet when the plant wasn't operating. Rural farmers have endured a long and brutal war and a string of natural disasters, each turn of events bringing financial ruin one step closer. As early as 2000, the members of SCPM decided the answer lay at the feet of their beloved cashew trees. The time had come to turn false fruit into a true and lasting resource for the community.
Local people already knew about the false fruit. They would just grab a few false fruits and they'd blend them and make juice out of them. Now we needed to convince everyone that it was a marketable product, that it could be mass-produced. With the help of CCA, we envisioned a project that took advantage of the fact that we had this resource.
It was a gamble. Nothing like it had been done before in this or any other part of Latin America. And though false fruit grows in abundance each year, no one had experience harvesting the delicate fruit or processing and marketing its juice on a large scale. And there was an uncertain demand for the juice, which many considered too bitter. This wasn't the first time the co-op and its members faced difficult challenges head-on. On October 31st, 1998, torrential rains from Hurricane Mitch tested their mettle yet again, triggering a deadly landslide which swept away people, cattle, homes, and cars. 12 of the 100 villagers who died were never found. Many survivors owe their lives to the cashew trees which blanket the hills above their homes. Their deep roots held the soil together, preventing an even larger catastrophe. Co-op President Javier Ortiz led the valiant recovery process, coordinating emergency efforts. Homes were replaced and broken houses repaired. He established a disaster preparedness committee to organize an early warning system. Fueled by the generosity of Canadian cooperators and the Canadian International Development Agency, SCPM helped Chilanguera and other affected communities build back stronger than ever. A new child care center was built near the plant. For $1 a day, workers' children are well fed and cared for in a government-certified daycare program. Systems to pipe purified water to homes were installed in the co-op communities. A new school was built for Gualuca and a wall erected to protect the schoolyard in Chilanguera. Roads and a new co-op office was built in Chilanguera. Women and youth are playing a larger role in community and co-op decisions. Raquel Alfaro was among the first women in her village to become active in the affairs of her local farmer co-op. Her journey from housewife to Chilanguera's first woman mayor challenged traditional views of women's roles. Along the way, Raquel had to convince her family, as well as the community, that women had a valuable role to play in community affairs.
Yes, it wasn't that easy at first. After 3 years, they started to come around and they began to see this was working, and they began to understand this was something important for me and for the family as well. They saw that as a woman, as a mother, and as a wife, my life was fulfilled, and once I got the job as mayor, they really understood where I was coming from. Not just because of the income, but for me as an individual.
Raquel always conveys her ideas extremely well. It's interesting because usually, in rural areas, women are known for cooking and taking care of children and nothing else. Raquel managed to overcome this stigma. She's shown that women can bring a lot more to the community and its development.
I tell the young women in our community they should take advantage of anything that might allow themselves to develop, to further themselves. They should really have no fear. The more knowledge they have, the better. They should set goals and go after them and have no fear.
Raquel is a role model for other young women who want to make a contribution to their co-op and community. Attitudes are gradually changing.
I believe that both men and women should achieve or do the same job. I work in a field. My wife, she works in an office. Both of us have different jobs. Now I feel that when I go out and cut sugarcane and go to the orchard and pick cashews or false fruit, that my wife or a woman can do that job as well. It's not a problem.
Tested by war, poverty, and natural disasters, the residents of Chilanguera are determined to make a go of this new local industry. Resilient, hard-working, it's in their character to always move forward. The co-op mobilizes this spirit and tenacity to the benefit of everyone in the community. Together, they are savoring the sweet taste of success.
We've invested a lot in Chilanguera. It's the first and only production site of cashew false fruit in the country and in Central America. Through this, we are fulfilling our mission statement and improving the lives of our members.
SCPM and CCA worked together to come up with a plan to build and equip a processing plant and to convince development agencies of its viability. Chilanguera was selected for its abundant water supply and hard-working people. In time, the Inter-America Development Bank provided funds to build a modest plant, and CCA stepped up to equip it. Twice a day, Juan Munguia backs up his cart with a new supply of false fruit. The plant processes just 10% of the fruit available from the Chilanguera orchards. 3 workers weigh, inspect, clean, and prepare the fruit for processing. 20% will not make the grade. Dinora puts in long hours preparing each batch to make 48 gallons of false fruit juice and is the bedrock of her family's daily well-being. The juice is extracted from the fruit and the discarded pulp used for composting. The learning curve has been steep, and setbacks occur with regularity as the machinery is pushed to its limit. When a fuse blows, the juice must sit in this cooker until a replacement can be located and installed. If the juice sits too long, it will spoil and the day's income will be lost. The fuse is found, the machines are running, and Mario gives the thumbs up to carry on. It takes 9 pounds of fruit to make 1 gallon of juice. The juice is poured into jugs and then stored in the refrigerator. Refrigerated, the juice will last for 4 months, twice the time if left at room temperature. Maintaining the power supply is a constant worry. When the day's batch is safely cooling in the plant refrigerator, they clean up and head home. Another day, another batch. Every jug of false fruit juice produced in Chilanguera is sold to local shops and restaurants. Mario works hard to let people know that his juice is locally produced and benefits local farmers directly. He is convincing the naysayers that this juice stands on its own for quality, price, and flavor.
It took a while to convince people that the false fruit was a good juice. A lot of people thought it was bitter tasting. Through the whole industrial processing of this product, we were able to make it into a very nice tasting juice.
If the praise of Luis Diaz, owner of the Red Dragon restaurant, is anything to go by, false fruit juice has a very bright future. We are building demand for the product 1 jug at a time, says Mario. Chilanguera is a remarkable cooperative and community. It has a past steeped in tradition, tested by tragedy, and recognized for triumphing over adversity. Its present reflects all of the hard work and dedication residents have applied to turn challenges into assets, hopes into reality. It has a future that looks well within reach: prosperity, security, health, and well-being, the cornerstones of a thriving community.
Cuando yo sea secretaria. Yo quiero ser abogado cuando esté grande. Yo quiero ser actor de película. Cuando sea grande quiero ser maestro. Yo quiero ser abogado. Yo cuando sea grande voy a ser agricultor. Cuando sea grande quisiera ser secretaria. Cuando sea grande quiero ser profesor. Cuando yo sea grande quiero ser secretaria.